Bret Easton Ellis's book, Rules of Attraction, is a story that examines the higher educational institution as a place of chaotic debauchery. This is a conversation between two best friends about the institution and how it functions symbolically for Ellis. Welcome to the podcast, and we hope you enjoy. I love empanadas.
These are particularly good. They didn't overmix their dough, so the dough was pretty flaky, and they didn't it had just a thin pastry shell and was just chock full of ground beef with like big chunks of like roasted garlic and like onions and stuff.
That sounds awesome. I made empanadas when I was like in 10th grade for like everyone at school, and they turned out they were the best fucking thing I have ever eaten. I swear to God. I love empanadas. Empanadas are
make a pretty good one, too.
shit. Da shit. They are so good. Okay. So, rules of attraction.
Yeah, I read the first 2 chapters and I just couldn't keep doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. I read the entire book and I have so many notes that I did not finish. But that's fine. We will make our way through the book. So I guess I'm in charge of doing the summary this time, which is totally fine. Yeah, so 1980s New Hampshire. Everyone is a drug addict. Everyone is a spoiled rich kid. And it is.
I was about to say, these are all privileged people, though, is the thing. Like,
what do you mean? What?
At least that's what all the main characters are privileged rich kids.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So they're all spoiled rich kids. They are chaotic. It's constant debauchery. I don't know how different this is from the film. You said that the film was easier. Actually, let's talk about the film first, because I don't know anything about the film because I didn't watch it. But from your perspective, how were the characters? What was happening with that? Because I think from what little Reddit that I read of this story, people have said that the movie is different from the book.
I assumed as much, but like I mentioned earlier in text, I was drunk when I watched it, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this is really cool," and I looked it up. Oh, it's a book. We should read it. And now I don't remember much.
Okay, so let's not unpack the film then, because obviously I have not watched it. I was gonna watch it as like part of my like getting used to like talking about the book, but then I decided no, because we're mostly talking about the book on this series, so the book is what matters the most. So
yeah, in the future, like I wouldn't mind, like if we both decide,
we
like
could do
that would be cool. We both do
we could do a bonus episode.
A bonus episode.
Yeah, of us.
But I don't think. Just thinking, I don't think there's really anything else on the list as a movie.
No, I don't think most of the books that I've listed. So that it would definitely be a bonus episode, but we could totally do a bonus episode. I love bonus episodes where you do something weird and like quirky and like something you haven't done before. Which
right.
I mean,
I very
it's
much
not
want
quirky,
them to make
but
a cartoon version of a Parable of the Sour.
Oh my god! Okay,
they make it a live action and ruin it.
You know what I think we would make a really good like bonus episode that's a movie is Persepolis.
I have not seen the movie. I've read the graphic novel. It's one of my favorites. Rest in peace.
I have not read the graphic novel or watched the movie, but I was aware of it before when it happened, when she died. I was aware of it and I was like, oh shit. And then I kept seeing clips of the movie on my screen and I was like, this sounds like it would be like a really good story. Like it just seems like it's a really good story.
Apparently she died of heartbreak because her husband died 10 months ago.
Yeah, people die of heartbreak sometimes, which
literally a thing. It's literally a thing.
Yep. No, okay, so I had my cat Data. My parents gave him away suddenly for no reason. They didn't tell me. And then Cadbury, their cat, who was his best friend, died like months later. We found him in front of the house. And I was like, yeah,
It happened.
it's cuz you fucking give away data. He didn't know what happened to him.
Yep, it happens with animals. It happens with people. Like it's
Yeah.
absolutely a thing.
No, I get so mad at people who are just like, "No, animals don't
It happens.
experience grief." And it's like,
It,
"You're dumb."
it,
Thank you.
it can happen with lovebirds, but you can get the lovebird another lovebird, and it might not happen, but
Yeah,
it might still happen.
it might still happen. Okay. So this story is narrated throughout the fall of 1985. And quote,
Before I was born.
"It's a story that may bore you to listen, but you don't have to listen." Basically, it is narrated primarily by Sean, Paul, and Lauren. And we actually open up with a segment that is, we assume from later in the book that it is Lauren is in the original POV. She's losing her virginity, which is really weird because like when you Google the rules of attraction, it basically is like, oh, Lauren is a virgin and da 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 da. And it's like, no, she's not. Later in the book. And like, Sean becomes obsessed with her because she's a virgin. Nope, that's not what happens at all. Thank you, Google. Um, Basically, we have an opening segment where a girl is losing her virginity for the first time because of a bunch of townies, quote unquote. Um, and
Well, she wanted to lose her virginity, but like with a specific person, and then as she got more drunk,
yeah,
like the perimeter shifted, and then she ended up having a threesome. Basically, she was raped, but it's not framed
yeah,
like
no,
that.
it's
But
definitely rape though. It's rape. It's 100% rape. Because when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, she's being raped.
and I don't know
And then
because the
there's,
author is a man
yeah,
if he's intentionally framing it as a rape or he's not framing it as a
I
rape.
think he is framing it as a rape because he's so satirical with the rest of the book, which we'll get into. But like, I feel like he knew what he was doing with the materials presented to him that he created. Um, because like he also makes it out to the like this is a very literous kind of environment where everyone is constantly doing something like weird and immoral.
What school is this at? Is it an Ivy school?
It's not a real school. It's Camden College.
Do they imply it's an Ivy school?
Yes, it's implied that it's an Ivy League school because, and we'll get into
Yeah.
this too, because I talked about this when I was talking to myself, reading about like everything related to this, and I found an article that like explicitly delves into that particular thing about the Ivy League school being like a particular way, and so we'll talk about that after I kind of get through the summary. Okay, so it's narrated by Sean, Paul, and Lauren, though there's also the mystery girl who is there for a fair chunk of the story. And I don't know how this appears in the movie, but there's a few other people like Stuart and Eve and stuff like that. So there's not, it's mostly narrated by these three people. So we start out with Sean at a party. He wants to go home with a hot freshman, but he goes home with Deidre, whose dad is in the music industry, and then they make her roommate cry, which was really shitty of them. Like they just start screaming at her about like, "You're insane. You're insane." like they literally just like, "You're insane. Shut the fuck up." It's crazy. Um Okay, and then there's Mitchell there. Paul is interested in Mitchell, and we never get a POV from Mitchell, which is interesting because they do kind of try to like, um, or Easton Ellis tries to like give us like other people's perspectives a lot, um, but Mitchell he never gives us that POV. Paul goes home with Katrina.
This is a very bisexual story.
Say what?
This is a bisexual story.
Oh, it is so bisexual. Everyone is bisexual, it feels like. Like everyone.
And and like for when this book was written and when it takes place, I feel that makes it like a little groundbreaking
it really
because it's
kind of
not
is.
implied bisexual; it's explicitly bisexual.
Yeah, I know, because even the main even Sean wonders at one point whether or not Lauren is basically bisexual, whether or not she slept with another woman, whether or not she's a lesbian is kind of like his like perspective. He's like, what if she's a lesbian? Oh no, like da da da. And it's like, yeah, like everybody here is doing stuff with anybody because everyone's on drugs, everyone's constantly drunk, everyone is constantly in a state of mind that is not
I
great.
will, I just thought of something, and I wonder if this is part of this specific framing. Is that bisexuality? Because I was just thinking, well, maybe they're not just sexual, maybe they're just horny, and I'm like, well, like bisexuality is often like experienced a sort of erasure. It's like, well, if you're horny enough, anybody's bisexual. I'm like, yeah, we are human beings. I personally believe most human beings are actually in fact bi, but because of like thousands of years of societal pressure, we have like strict boundaries to this when I don't think those boundaries actually exist. I think we're more like bonobos than we are chimpanzees in that sense.
Right.
But I
Um
digress.
no, like I remember the one thing that always really pissed me off about my mom. Um I had an argument with her one day because I had liked this guy in high school and he turned out to be bisexual slash gay. I think he's more gay than he was bisexual, but I digress again. Like I'm not totally sure because I never asked him because I didn't want to pry. But I basically said, I told my mom, like, oh, well, he's bisexual. Because she was like ranting about how she wanted me to date him. And then she was like, oh, he's bisexual? That means you just want to have sex with everybody. And then, like, I hope you're not so interested in him. And, like, I shut down and I didn't talk to her for like 2 days. Because I was like,
Yeah,
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you suck, you suck, you suck. I hate you. I literally just shut down. Like I have never been so mad in my life, even at my mom for all the shitty things
I've
she
made.
did. I was so angry.
I can see that. It doesn't make it. This is good because it's Pride Month, but this makes me think back to bisexuality and how like society treats it. Is that something that I've noticed, and I was reflecting on this again today, is that generally speaking, our cultural fetishizes bisexual women and ridicules bisexual men.
Yes, that is very true. Which is weird because like also they'll still shit on women for like dating men.
Well, yeah, like,
And they'll be like, "Oh, you're not
and
actually bisexual because you're dating a man." And it's like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
and and this is like when there's in community violence within the LGBTs, like you'll be like, well, you're like a lot of time you see like you see it more often with lesbians, but you see it with gay men also. Like, I'm a gold star lesbian, and it means they've never slept with a man. But then you'll also see another thing on a lot of lesbians. No, they'll be like, no bisexuals, no, and then they might say something like, no femmes or no butches or no, oh God, what's the black butch? Studs, which is black butch. But I think it's more than just that. Like, I don't think I fully comprehend the perimeters of what makes a stud a stud.
right.
But this will be queer people doing this sort of thing. And it's fairly common for lesbians to not want to sleep with bisexual women. I do not. I have theories as to why that is. I do not know, and I'm not going to elaborate on those theories because they're half baked.
Right.
Sorry, we keep talking about things that aren't the book, but I guess that's
Okay.
part of book fiction.
No, it's okay. Totally fine. Hey, like we are here to talk. That's what we're here to do. All right. So Paul goes home with Katrina. I believe that Mitchell. Paul is interested in Mitchell. We never get a POV from Mitchell. Paul goes home with Katrina. Lauren is thinking about Victor at Thirsty Thursday because that's where they are. Everyone's at Thirsty Thursday. and then goes home with a freshman tool, as she like kind of phrases it. We get Victor's POV. He's running around Europe, and then I like the fact that he learns how to sing Springsteen in Yugoslavian, which is fun. I thought that was a really fun moment.
That's not in the movie. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Paul and Mitchell. We get those two together. Paul wonders if Mitchell watched him sleep, and then Mitchell gets stoned that entire night, and then like they don't really do anything. They just kind of like watch TV and hang out together. And then we get Sean's POV. Guy named Mark is shooting up. He seems to be Sean's friend, given that he knows the room really well. So like Sean's kind of like big thing is that he will go and pick up drugs for so many different people, and then Rupert, the local drug dealer, really fucking hates him because Sean will show up and be like, "Hey, I need drugs for such and such group," and the guy is just like, "Hey, you still owe me money." Da 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 da. It's like a whole fucking thing, and then like it leads into some bad things later on, but it's not.
You think he's the townie that she slept with?
Yeah, Roxanne is dating him, the Rupert.
Okay.
Roxanne is a friend of like kind of everybody, and she specifically is dating Rupert. So, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong about that, but um yeah, Mark is an addict and he's been like shooting up what I assume is heroin. They don't go into it. But he seems to be like so kind of out of it that it's got to be something hard because he's shooting up and he is totally out of it. Um
He probably left it purposely vague
yeah.
for approachability.
Yeah. And then there's Paul's POV and they're all in the cafeteria and Paul gets really pissed off at Mitchell getting with this girl who he thinks is super ugly because he's like, Mitchell should be with me. And then Lauren's POV, she ends up at the cafeteria and seems to observe the same guy who has been showing up like in other cafeteria POVs, like Paul's. It's a guy with sunglasses and he's just like doling out food wearing like these like hipster ass like sunglasses and
Like aviators, or
yeah, they're like I hold on, let me see if I can look it up. uh okay, so I'm not sure, I can't find it, but basically we have this guy wearing sunglasses. He shows up in Paul's POV and he shows up in Lauren's POV. And he is wearing sunglasses and just doling out food for everybody. And then later, he shows up again in Sean's POV. The guy with the glasses, and this is what I've written, the guy with the glasses knows Sean. His name is Jason. And so I like how all three POVs focus on this one guy in different ways, and like how it kind of like examines like, okay, so like all of these people are experiencing the same thing but in a different manner each time, which is it's nice to see because I think that it's like you don't see that all the time, and I just really
mm-hmm.
like I really like how they did that because like each time he does something slightly different for each person. But then we get into the unreliable narrator stuff later on, which is also really cool. So it kind of like is interesting when you see like these similarities between each different like POV, but then later
But isn't
on,
hold on a second, question? Because
yes.
I assumed from the couple chapters that I read that it was all unreliable narrators. They're
Oh,
like
they're
a
all
definitive
unreliable
ship.
narrators, but you don't really pick up on it if you're just reading it like kind of like chill, whatever. You don't really pick up on it until you get to Sean and Paul's POVs. Because Sean and
Okay.
Paul is envisioning like a very like lurid world. He's got a lot of words to say about him having sex with Sean. Sean, on the other hand, pretends like it isn't happening at all. He's not having sex with Paul in his POV. And like some people are like, "Oh, is Paul imagining this?" Because I looked it up on Reddit. And some people are like,
Oh, I remember that being represented in the movie. Yes.
yeah. So like Paul clearly thinks that he's having sex with Sean. And most POVs are like Paul is making it up. It is not, they're not actually having sex, he's making it up. I think that's wrong. I actually think that Paul is the most trustworthy source of all the different people out of everybody. I think that Paul is most trustworthy. But that might be because I think he's like the best person out of all of them, because like I think that everybody in this like scenario sucks. I think everybody fucking sucks.
Some of the best stories ever involved everybody sucks.
Yeah.
And like Reddit speak, everybody here sucks. What is the am I the asshole verdict when everybody sucks? It's everybody sucks here. What's the acronym? It's like 3 letters. I can't remember what it was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's something like that. But like the best stories are often like everybody just sucking.
Yeah. And Paul is the one that I trust the most because I feel like he's actually like got the least amount to lose from telling the truth. If that makes sense. So
he's probably the most honest because of that.
Yeah, I think he has the least amount to lose because the way he frames things feels like he doesn't care.
So
because he's
here.
Bi and he just doesn't give a shit.
In the different narratives, are they talking to themselves or are they talking to an audience? Because they can only be.
I think
like, are they lying to them?
Both. I think it's both because I think that everybody in real life has like their own moment where they're both talking to an audience and then talking to themselves. Because I do that all the time when I do that all the time when I'm a kid. I was a kid. I did that all the time when I was a kid, and I do that all the time now.
Yeah. Now we just imagine, hey, chat.
Yeah, chat. What's up?
Imagine Rules of Attraction, but like it takes place in 2022, or like hell, even imagine if it took place when you were like college age.
Yeah. Right. Like, I feel like because you really see it with the girl character who is, we assume her name is Mary, and she's obsessed with Sean. I think we really see it there because she has, and this is a while later, but she has, I wrote down here, then Mary's POV in third person, like she's watching herself fail as a kind of coping mechanism, distancing herself from the moment. Because that's kind of what she does to like kind of like push herself away from the thing that she is trying to do because it was so embarrassing. So Sean POV, we see that he's chasing girls.
It did help.
Did it help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And then we get the first acknowledgement that someone is putting notes in his box. The guy with the glasses knows Sean, and his name is Jason, like I said before.
I remember that.
Yes. So, like, I love how Easton Ellis is doing this, like, thing with characters where he's, like, showing us different parts of them through different people's perspectives. I love it. It's great. I think it works really well, and, like, adds to like the kind of like you want to know more the more you read because he's doing stuff like that.
Motivating me to finish it because there's a lot of books that I've read that is written from different characters' perspectives, but I can't. Maybe I have read one, but I can't think of one off the top of my head where the author goes to the effort of giving each one a different voice. It's always the same voice, and I don't
No,
think like
so he does this a lot, and there's another point later on that I haven't written down in my notes, which is so impactful for me because it takes the concept of a love triangle quite literally, where they're like sitting
hmm
in the pub, and Paul is looking at uh what's her face? Lauren. Paul is looking at Lauren, and she is looking at Sean. And Sean isn't looking at Paul, but I think he looks once and then looks back to his video game and keeps playing. But the point is that it's a literal triangle, and everyone is consuming it at the same time.
mm.
It's so good. It's such a good moment, and I'm just like, I was blown away by that moment because I'm like, he took that quite literally and just applied it, and it worked. Because Lauren's like, oh fuck, are they together? Wait, but he's with me. Holy shit, kind of thing. Like, we get that from her just being like, what the fuck's happening? It's so good. But, so I would encourage you to finish the book if you can manage it. But, if not, that's totally fine because I totally understand. Um, okay, so going back to where we are before we get our first italic section, which is narrated by the girl who has been putting notes in Sean's box, and she just goes on about how she wants him and is planning to meet him. Paul's POV, Mitchell has officially left him. Then Lauren decides to change her major because Victor will not call her back. Paul and Sean meet, and Paul thinks Sean is hitting on him, but Sean just wants more beer and is trying to get Paul to pay for it. So Paul asks him to dinner,
Classic.
and this is where things start to get weird with Paul and Sean's narrative because this is where we start to get them not making sense because Paul is talking about how Sean is fucking him, and Sean is like, yeah, Paul, this guy I hang out with occasionally, he's kind of annoying. Like, basically, that's what it is. And Sean sucks. I don't like Sean. But so, out of all the characters, I think I like Paul the most because I feel like he is the most sort of kind person. Everybody else just really, really sucks. Um, but yeah, Paul talks about fucking Sean, but Sean does not talk about it at all. Let's skip forward a bit. A guy named Harry tries to kill himself, and Paul is prevented from meeting Sean for dinner, and Sean does not remember to go. So it doesn't matter that Paul's missed it. It's uh, it's a good series of events where basically Paul is like, oh no, I have to save this freshman. I don't really want to be doing that. And then the doctor is just like a complete quack and it just keeps like Harry like wakes up halfway through it and he's like, I'm fine. And then the doctor is like, no, I think this guy is dead. It's like a whole fucking thing. And they're like, okay, this guy is crazy and scary. We got to get out of here. Um, so yeah, that happens. Lauren sleeps with Judy's BF, Franklin. And then they start becoming a sort of item, but like Lauren doesn't like him very much, and so like every time Franklin's like, "You should read this book," she's like, "This is shit." So that's
Oh my god! If there's somebody that you like and you're trying to get them to read something or listen to some sort of music or like some sort of art that you love, and they're like, that's like a particularly bad feeling.
yeah, it's a bad time for both of them. It seems like they just like are good at. Apparently, Franklin's just good at fucking. I think, and so like it's not like she's just with him
You could
because
one
because of
could say
that.
Franklin fucks.
Yeah, Franklin fucks. Um, all right, where was I? Yes. Okay, so Lauren sleeps with Judy's BF. Then we get Paul's POV where he and Sean get together and he tells Sean something interesting, which is, quote unquote, don't pretend we're not doing this. even though that's exactly how Sean's POV works when it comes to Paul for the rest of the book, which is really interesting to me. Like, why would he say that? Unless he
Okay, so in
understood.
Sean's POV, does he even just allude that they're like doing something sexual, or does
Nope.
he just completely
Nope.
gloss
He
over it?
completely glosses over it. And that's why I think, because a lot of people have like assumed that Paul is the one making it up, but I don't think so. I think Sean's faking it. I think
When you
Paul
say
is
people
right.
think, you're talking about like Reddit consensus, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like Reddit consensus.
Yeah, but it's probably a bunch of straight people coming up with that. The thing is that this is part of the queer experience is it like fucking around with people who are not completely out, and then them just pretending it's not happening.
Right. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. That helps. If we take it from that route, then absolutely yeah. Cuz like but like when I was reading it, I was like this doesn't sound like, cuz it's so detailed, right? Like it's
Look up
so
anything about the
like
author.
what?
Is the author queer?
I'm actually not sure. Hold on. Maybe we can look that up. Is Bret Easton
Yeah,
Ellis queer?
I didn't read his Wikipedia or anything. Oh, that should be part of book club, like reading, learning a little bit, like August's book, like because I read August's book and I want to read the autobiography about her.
He is gay. He's gay.
Okay, this is written by a gay man. Okay, so definitely, um, Paul's the one who has the most clearest
Yeah, like that
truest.
was the thing when I was reading it. I was like, Paul has the clearest explanation of what is happening. He's so detailed every single time that like he says something about like the sex, and it's like you can't make that up after a certain point. So that character is definitely like real life experiencing it, you know? Like that's how kind of how I feel when it comes to like yeah, you can make up anything, but like I feel like an individual character narrating their own experiences can't make up that much, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
People
know.
aren't that's why it's easy to check a lie because lies are usually stupid sounding.
Right, and that's the thing is that Sean just doesn't he ignores all of it. But at the same time there are certain things that I think are true.
What details does he focus on that you think are true? What are the things that
Okay.
he's focusing on the situation
Well,
in
okay, so
general?
there's one thing let's go forward a little bit. When Paul is he is looking to go to not home. Um he's looking to go to, is it New York? Boston, something like that. He's looking to go to Boston because his mom has called him and was like, "I need you to come to Boston." And he's like, "Okay." And then Sean, the night before, through Paul's POV, I think it was the night before, but either way, he says basically, "I will drive you to the bus station." And Paul is like, "Okay, great, awesome. Thank you for doing that, Sean." And Sean is like, "No problem," and then leaves. And then Paul shows up, and Sean is like, "I can't believe this guy asked me to take him to the bus stop." And so that's
Huh.
where I think that Sean is lying. Those are the moments where I think Sean is lying. Because to me, Paul wouldn't like show up at all because that's the kind of character that I think Paul is like he wouldn't show up if Sean didn't ask him to. But at the same time, their original like get together moment was where Paul assumed that Sean was asking him out on a date. So maybe their entire relationship is just miscommunication. So it's either that or
Hmm.
the other thing, right?
Right.
It's just weird to me because I just, I feel like. But yeah, okay, so let's skip forward to where yeah, Sean's mom calls him to ask him to go to Boston. He's got to miss this dress to get screwed party, which he is so sure that Sean is going to cheat on him at, which again indicates unreliable narration because it's like I want this to be framed in a particular way.
Right.
So yeah, Mary is trying to get with Sean, and she is going out of her way to do that at the Just Get Fucked party. And then
Is that what the party is called, literally?
yeah, Dressed to Get Fucked. Is that right? Yeah, Dressed to Get Fucked. Dressed to Get Screwed. Just to Get Screwed. My bad.
Screwed.
Yeah, but Paul the entire time is like, I don't trust Sean to not hook up with someone else. And then we have another segment from Mary, where she wants to meet him at the party. Sean goes to the pub after telling Paul he'll take Paul to the bus station, blah, blah, blah. We already went through that. Lauren breaks up with Franklin, and then Paul says Sean offered him to take him to the bus stop, blah, blah. Sean fakes his bike not starting so he doesn't have to take Paul to the bus station. Sean gets another letter in his box, and then he wants to meet Lauren because he's sure that it's Lauren who has been putting letters in his box, which we know is not true. Bertrand, who is a French guy and Sean's roommate, happens to be in love with Lauren, and we only know that if we translate his portion of the book, because his portion of the book, which is only one like long paragraph or so, is him being like, I'm in love with you, basically. But it's in French. So the only way to get to that is if you read the French. And then we have Mary's POV. She tells a story about where she first saw Sean and details her preparations for the party. Lauren breaks up with Franklin. We already said that. And then Paul gets to his room and she locks the door by accident. His mom. Okay, so Paul's mom shows up and at the hotel, and Richard is late getting there, which is Mrs. Jared's son. Paul calls Sean and thinks he's cheating on him with a guy named Patrick, which is not true because Sean's brother's name is Patrick. He says
there's kind of a Shakespearean quality to this.
There really is. I really enjoyed this book. I've read it through like almost twice because I really enjoyed every section. I feel like it really, there's so much like stuff going on constantly, and it's very well played. So Paul has to walk through his mother unlocking the door, and
that sounds kind of symbolic.
Yeah. And then she later tells him that his father and she is getting father and her, whatever. They are getting a divorce, and basically they have this horrible dinner where Richard / Dick, who he says his new name is Dick, is just the fucking worst. He like yells at his mom. He is just the worst. He is repulsive. And he sucks. He just sucks all the way around. Which means that his new name is very applicable because Dick is what he is. He is a dick. Um,
Right.
and there's another guy, Stuart, who like goes to the dress to get fucked party. Sorry, I keep saying fucked, but dress to get screwed party. And he's like, "Why is Paul not here? I was looking for Paul because I want to fuck him, and hopefully he will go out with me." And he is like super upset about
Who's
that.
the top and the bottom in this set?
Oh, I don't know.
No, that's an important aspect here.
I guess
No, it is. It is.
it
Because
is.
if Sean's the top versus, like, there's a less predatory nature if Sean's the top. But if Paul's the top, there's a predatory nature to this.
Ooh, I didn't think of that. But
No,
actually, no, I
but
think
you get my reasoning right?
no, I do
Do you
get
understand why I'm reasoning?
I do get the reasoning, but I think actually Sean was on top.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. And I think that's what the movie portrays.
I think that's right, but I would have to go back and look at it.
That is an important distinction in the plot that's being framed.
Yeah. Okay, so then it's
And maybe not.
What?
All right, go on.
Okay. Okay, so then it's Mary's POV. She's in third person for some reason. So we have her entire section in italics because we usually do.
Have they done anything in third person in the book yet?
No, I don't think so. This is the first time. It's just Mary being third person, and I think
so. That means the actual narrator of the book is talking.
Right. As if she's written the entire thing. That's interesting. But okay.
Like now, I'm the author, and now it's my time to talk. Like I don't know, but like that. Like I think the fact that he hadn't done a third person is important.
Right. No, I felt like it was her distancing herself as a kind of coping mechanism to like deal with the moment. Because when she kills herself, she's in first person.
But does she have other chapters?
That's what I said. That's the last. This is the last one. Over her final one. Her final one is her being in first person again. So that's what I'm thinking is like she's like seeing it as like a movie, you know, like she like as if like not to distance. Either she's distancing herself, but she could also be like creating like kind of like a movie. Like this is supposed to be a movie moment for her because she is very dramatic and very like everything has to work in a particular way, right? Because she's like imagining it very romantically.
Right.
So it's either she's distancing herself so she doesn't have to be fully involved, or she is creating a kind of movie-like scape so that she can, like, you know, find her true love, right? But it's also true that she could be doing both at the same time. So I think she's just, you know, trying to do both at the same time, personally. But she says it's last call, and then we go to page 173, and she's lying in the warm water, and she's gonna kill herself, and she in fact does. And then Roxanne finds her body, and she starts screaming at the top of her lungs, and she goes and like pulls a bunch of fire alarms, and she is just losing her shit because she found a girl lying in bloody water, which, yeah, same. Um, and Paul returns to campus, and he sees Lauren standing in Sean's window when this happens. So he's like, oh shit, damn. Um, he does not love me. He is in love with Lauren. Because he is. And then, let's see, let's move forward a little bit here. Yeah, Paul and Sean have a falling out. Because they're like, Sean's like, you ruined our friendship with sex, and Paul's like, okay, I'm sorry. And Lauren is still looking for mail from Victor. Victor has not messaged her or anything. He does not care. He does not give a shit, as we find out later. And then they decide to go to Vittorio's party. Vittorio is Lauren's poetry teacher, and he's super fucking weird. And so they go there, Sean and Lauren. And they go there, and they're like, yeah, like we can just, hang out or whatever. Sean doesn't really want to go there, but he does anyway. And then he passes out drunk while there. And Lauren is warming up to her teacher, Vittorio, who is going back to Europe. And she is super not great about it. And yeah, so they fucking have a fight because he's like, we need to leave now. You need to leave Vittorio. And Victoria's like stroking her hair and being all creepy, and she's like, no, da da da, everything's fine. And then we get to, oh yeah, she's trying to break up with Sean, basically. And Sean is also kind of trying to break up with her too.
That's always good,
Yeah,
except when it isn't.
yeah, yeah. It is kind of nuts. Hold on, let me pull up. So Sean and Lauren begin dating. Um, Sean is obsessed and believes that the notes that she gave prove her love, which obviously we know were not her notes. There's also a scene later on where there's like a literal triangle that happens between um, every single character, like Paul, Lauren, and Sean, and like then they're like all like kind of like having it off, which is real interesting. Um, and Lauren thinks that like Sean is kind of like boring. She thinks that he's because he likes video games and he likes sex. That's basically his main like interests, and she finds him boring.
In the 80s, the video games are dumb.
They can be dumb.
Like, so he's in arcade games. He's in what video games are describing in this?
Yeah, like it's like.
Do you remember?
Well, it's like kind of like pinball and stuff like that. Games like that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is boring.
Yeah, and she was like bored out of her fucking mind.
He was what? He was what?
She's just bored out of her fucking mind. Which is interesting because Paul never mentions any of that. So Sean takes Lauren, or Lauren takes Sean, to a party run by Vittorio, which is her poetry teacher's thing, and he is obsessed with her, and he keeps like talking about how golden her hair is, how soft and
Yeah, I
fluffy
remember
and
this a little
beautiful
bit.
it is, and she's like totally lapping it up. And then Sean is just like, this is creepy as fuck. And he passes out on Victoria's bed, wakes up, and they're like cuddling up to each other on the couch and like being weird. And like he's like, this is not great. Don't like this at all. And so basically he is like, fuck this, I'm leaving. And then he goes and sleeps with Judy, her best friend, um who obviously tells her about this. And Lauren doesn't actually care because she doesn't actually care about Sean. She does not give a shit, but she wants a reason to break up with him, so she puts on a theater act basically. And she is like, I don't really, like, you slept with my best friend. How fucked up is that? Hey, that's fucked up. Even though she doesn't give a
Right?
shit. She does not give a shit. She's just like, I want him to
Well,
suffer.
then why is she doing it? Does she do it? Is she
She
doing it
does it
because
to
she
suffer,
feels like
make him
she should
suffer.
give a shit?
She,
Oh,
she
she's doing it punitively.
yeah, she did it punitively. She did not care. She did not care one bit. Um, and I mean that this is kind of like the point where I don't like her a lot. Like I already didn't like her that much, but like the point where I really didn't like her is that she's using the cat as collateral and she's pretending to like the cat, her roommate's cat, and then like she like grabs onto the cat really hard, and the cat's like, I'm not having a good time, and she just doesn't let go, and I'm like, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. Um,
Right.
yeah.
And
Anybody
I'm
being a
sure the
piece of shit to a cat.
author like like put that in to make people less sympathetic to her.
Yeah. And then okay,
So,
so then Lauren, there's like Sean tries to kill himself multiple times. Um because of like shit going on. Specifically like also like breaking up with Lauren. And he attempts suicide like 3 times, and one of the times he like put takes Patrick's like the tie that Patrick gave him, ties it up to like the ceiling and like tries to kill himself that way. It doesn't work, it rips. And he tries to swallow cold medicine, and then he tries to cut his wrists, and none of them work. He goes and takes a pumpkin to Lauren's door and like gets mad because he saw her dancing with a guy at a party, and he smashes the pumpkin at her door and like writes all this like mean stuff. Um, and then Lauren goes and finds him in his room covered in fake blood because he decided to like put on a little show for us. A little
he
show.
needed that. That's what he needed. He's a fucking drama freak.
Yeah, he is like, which is funny because Paul is the drama major. Sean is like meant to do computers or some shit. But he is the ultimate like, I'm dying. Oh my god, come save me kind of thing. And he like puts that on as a show, and she gets really upset about it and then like kisses him. And then after that kind of is where it
Oh man.
goes to the winter carnival, and Lauren tells Sean that she is pregnant, which she has been pregnant for since it's probably Paul's child, because she was already fucking Paul at some point, like early on. We just don't get to see that version of Paul because he's mostly gay during that time, right?
Right.
Um, and so we think it's Paul's kid, and she tells Sean, and he's like, I'm gonna marry you. Lauren accepts, but she's not like sure yet until later who the dad is. They drive to New York and stay with these friends who are married, and they're from Camden, and their lives like freak them out because they're like so happy and like normal kind of like lives, which I mean, like personally, I mean, I feel like that would like infuse like a relationship that is good, right? Because they're like wealthy and like complacent and like happy, right? So like
Right.
I don't understand why their conclusion was like, oh my god, this is so scary, this is terrifying, I don't want to be like this. And then like she has an ends up having an abortion after they like go on like a little like trip where they're like staying at hotels and like doing drugs and like doing nothing pretty much. And basically like she has an abortion. Sean says he's gonna pay for the abortion, but then he ends up not paying for the abortion. And like his rationale to when he's asked is just like, I didn't like her that much, which is insane because he has just spent his entire time pretending that he's like a fucking financial aid student when really he is nothing of the kind. He has spent his entire time
I
pretending.
remember that he lied about
Yeah,
yes, I remember that was like they do say that in the movie. Like
yeah,
that's serious.
that it's crazy. And then Sean visits his
That's
dying
Sean. That's
father.
Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
Well,
And
he so
what?
he did the whole. Well, he did the whole big crybaby routine, and you've seen the same sort of trope in your real life,
Oh yeah, for sure. Um. So then
like covering
Sean,
himself in blood and the multiple unsuccessful suicide attempts. But those suicide attempts were probably meant to fail.
right? Yeah, that's probably true. But like in the book, I think like they aren't necessarily meant to fail. It's just like him being really shitty at like staging.
Just incompetent. He's just
Just fucking
incompetent.
incompetent. Um,
Well, why couldn't you kill yourself? Because I suck.
I because I fucking suck at it. Um, and then okay, so then Sean visits his dying father in New York. Um, Patrick yells at him about him failing his grade and his debts. And then Sean's like, fuck you, whatever, I'm out of here. And then he leaves. Um, and then Victor returns to Camden. And then he tries to like get in contact with a different girl named Jamie. And uh Lauren is super upset because when she picks up the phone and like he's calling her and he's asking for a different girl, she's like, "What the fuck? What do you mean? Like what do you mean? What do you mean? What about me? Your girlfriend?" And he's like, "I don't know who you are." And like, I don't know. He does not fucking recognize her. Um and then yeah, so then there is ending scene. Paul spots Sean's motorcycle at the campus guardhouse and runs after it but cannot catch up. A student pulls over and offers a ride. um and then Paul gets into the car and Sean drives away from Camden. And then he picks up a hitchhiker who is a pretty girl. And it ends mid sentence. It ends mid sentence, which is much like, which I think is very interesting as a parallel to Mary, who dies mid sentence, which makes sense on her part.
Oh no, that's on purpose. That sounds
Yeah, because like, but like Mary was the one who was in love with him, like for real, and so it's an interesting parallel to like do that twice in the same book when it's like the girl who you were quote unquote supposed to be with because she actually cared about you compared to
something.
his ending.
This conversation made me think of, and you describing the book, is what specifically separates what you could call a novel versus pop literature or fantasy, and like those boundaries are will forever be gray. But when you're more focused on the intent and how you like lay out things, that's a novel. When you're more focused on telling a cool story that people are gonna want to read, that's like pop shit. I don't know, dude.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I can
This is
see that.
this is half baked. I'm sorry,
Half baked.
half baked. I mean, that's the literal. The idea of a half baked idea is like something you thought of, but you didn't like think about it too much, so you didn't think about it all the way. That's a
Right.
half baked idea.
Right. Okay, so
It's
what I have to say about this book is related to its natural history. So, the book was published or copyrighted in 1987. By
mhm.
1987, liberal arts colleges were no longer hedonistic playgrounds, but rather academically rigorous. But historically, the events at Camden College are accurate given that elite universities were precisely built to serve the ultra wealthy. And I have a quote from Findeson. I have a quote. Where did that piece of paper go?
Quote from who?
Findeson is a scholar. Oh, there it is. Okay.
I don't know
So,
what Finderson is.
oh, well, it's a guy. His name's Chris Finderson. You are unlikely to know exactly who he is, but okay. So
That's scholar stuff.
it's scholar stuff. All right. So here we go. But Dick's fantasy nevertheless reproduces the history of the higher educational system in significant ways. Before the 1940s, many elite private universities had well earned reputations as country clubs, merely posing as academic institutions. At the turn of the last century, academic standards among the big three, Harvard, Yale, and Princeton universities, already in steep decline since the 1880s, were in crisis because of class based admission practices aimed at recruiting gentlemen applicants from a small pool of elite prep schools. An indifference towards academic performance, coupled with the central importance of social and eating clubs among the student body, created a frivolous atmosphere similar to the one described by Dick Jared. In fact, at the turn of the century, so anti-intellectual was the undergraduate culture at Yale that classes vied with one another for the honor of being the least studious. In 1904, the yearbook boasted of having more gentlemen and fewer scholars than any other class in the memory of man. And then Princeton
Ooh.
is known as the finest country club in America because these people are more interested in having fun during this time than they are actually producing good schooling. You know, like good academic records, good actual, spending time on the things that they're supposed to be learning. They are not doing that.
I mean, as somebody that grew up working class and is working class, I always assumed that like only certain colleges were useful, and then like some were prestigious, but like I assumed that Ivy League colleges were like a half mix of like
Well, they're supposed
people
to
who
be the
had
best
parents
in the
or connections.
country. That's one of the things
And
that I experienced though. Is like they're supposed to be the best in the country, but it depends on the school that you're going to. Because Mount Holyoke, for example, always kind of hit my uh correct nodes when I was thinking of like, is this a good school, right? They were always, you know, good at doing the upper education stuff. But like when I went to Hampshire, not Hampshire, it was Amherst. Um, I remember the class that I took there, and the teacher yelling at all of the Amherst students. Me and one other student were completely exempt from this yelling session, because
yay.
we actually did the work, and Amherst students did fucking nothing. They did not do their homework. They did not even acknowledge that they were in a class that they needed to be in to, like, get their degrees. And the teacher was like, "What the fuck's wrong with all of you? What the fuck's wrong with all of you?" Um, and so I always kept that with me because that was like a very like interesting experience that always like got me, is like Amherst students aren't trying, but we're trying over here. Like we're actually doing the work, and these kids are not. So I it was funny because they at the time they were top in English in the country, English literature in the country, literally the number one school.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure most of those guys probably had fucking connections and shit, and they're probably more successful than you.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's
I
because
bet
you're
they are.
honestly
But you know
screwed.
what? I did the fucking work and they did not. So fuck them. Fuck
You know,
them.
you listen to it's because you're honest and true.
Yeah,
I
I
made a little
know.
promo.
And then okay, so like what Ellison is doing with this is satirizing, but he's speaking to a tradition of saying you're always gonna be that. Because at the time when he wrote this, he was not he was not like saying like this is happening now, because it wasn't happening at the time, because it was more of an intellectual environment by the time that he was actually writing Rules of Attraction.
So he wrote it off stories that he heard, maybe.
Maybe. But also like
Did
I
he go to
feel like,
school like on the East Coast?
say
Look
what?
at his wicked here. Did he go to school on the East Coast?
That's a great question. Let's look that up. Oh my god.
Because most writers don't spin their novels out of nothing. That's a hard skill to do. Like generally, they rely on like, okay, this is like I'm gonna do my life. Like that's a normal
Yeah,
fucking
I
thing
mean,
to do.
like Bukowski is a great example of that, because he everything that he wrote was from a personal experience.
If I were to write, it's gonna be like fucking magical realism,
Okay, so
Provo, fucking
apparently he
Utah.
went to Bennington College in Vermont, and he was an undergraduate when he
Okay,
published Less Than Zero. So he
huh?
knows all about that. Vermont? Come on, he knows. He knows. He
Is he
knows.
also from the? Is he also from the East Coast?
Yeah. Hold on, let me check. Less Than Zero. I feel like I need to read that one because that was his first one.
The easiest way on being queer is like being from one of the coasts.
Yeah.
But I was born next to one of the coasts, but my family moved me like inland.
Oh my god, he has a podcast? What?
Oh, I mean, yeah, this dude's still alive. He's probably He's like, I got shit to say.
He interviewed Kim Kardashian.
What?
No.
Can we play that right now where we both can listen to it?
Oh my god, yeah.
Is that a thing we can do?
I don't think we can do. I'll just cut it out of the audio. Don't worry. Oh. Brett Easton podcast. I'm losing my mind. No way. Where is his podcast though? Where is it? Okay, hold on. It was Kim Kardashian. I can't spell their fucking name. That. How Kim Kardashian? The first thing that came up was Trump, Bret Easton Ellis, Art Tavana, and how Kim Kardashian is the Henry Kissinger of our age.
Those words, but I'm gonna assume it's hilarious.
What do you mean? What is this? I'm dying. Hold on. Okay, no, so I can't find the podcast. I don't know where the podcast is. I'm sorry, Dailey.
That
We'll find it eventually. We'll find it eventually.
I'm probably because it's my weekend now, and I'm probably gonna do a big ass long walk.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about living in Chicago is you can walk like 15 miles and not carry anything. But anytime you need water or supplies, there's a little shop somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can like walk 15 miles and just take transit back the first few times.
Beautiful.
It's walker's paradise.
Yeah. I know. I've been there. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And you are also a walker.
I know. I love walking. Though I considered, because I got my vacation times back, and I was like, am I gonna go visit Dailey or am I gonna visit Elisa? And it's her birthday during my vacation, so I was like, I'm gonna go visit Elisa. But
I'm going to Louisville in like sometime between the last week of July and the second week of August. It's not been decided.
Right.
I'm gonna go visit Hannah.
So yeah, fun stuff. What else do you want to talk about with this book?
Okay. I did have some points that I was waiting on and now they exist in my brain.
I believe in you.
Do you think the writer is saying anything specifically? Or is he just saying, hey, look, like people could be fucked up?
I think that one of the main theses of this book, I don't fucking know if that's the correct formulation of that, but I think that one of the things that he's trying to say with the hedonistic playground kind of thing, I think he is specifically trying to like speak to this history. By satirizing it as if like this is what you're always going to be, because this was your history and it's always going to be that, no matter how much you try to dress yourself up and get like really intellectual people into the door, that's what you're going to be. Which I think is fair. I think that's a fair assessment, because I got lucky with my experience at my Holyoke, but I could tell that's not what it was
Because
about for a lot of people.
the reason I suggested this is specifically because I saw something in a world that you have been involved in and I have not, and I wanted your take on that.
The thing about
Like,
my take on that is that my experience, because I was so academically rigorous, and I don't say that as to like be like I was so academically rigorous, I'm so special. No, I genuinely was academically rigorous because I went there specifically for the schooling, and like friends be damned. If my friends got in the way of me getting a good grade, I was like, sorry, bye. Because that was when I was 9 years old, I decided I was going to go to an Ivy League. I knew that I was
so
going to go.
if
And so like the education is there for people. The education is there, and I think that it was there. Like you got the sense when you're reading the novel that it was there for those kids. They just didn't want to access it. And I met kids like that.
imagine like a short story of you or somebody like you that just happened to notice all this stuff happening and their their perspective of this, and they're a true narrator because they for some reason they saw all this,
Right.
but they didn't engage in that.
Yeah. So like for me it was really interesting, and like I'm gonna end up reading a lot of higher education novels because I'm writing my own higher education novel based off of Mount Holyoke. But like when I was reading the article that I quoted from earlier about how uh like how kind of like it's steeped in this tradition, um
And like,
like I when I think about the other novels that they mentioned in the article, I think like this is much bigger than my experience, right? Because like clearly they're latching onto stuff that I never even experienced at all because I was academically rigorous, like I said. So I was kind of in my bubble. And so like I met certain people, like I remember meeting this one girl who like went naked and like did a self portrait in the cafeteria of Ham. Uh
hmm,
like there were all kinds of like weird things that people were doing all around me at all times, and like I was kind of, unless it came up in class, I was oblivious to it. I was oblivious because I built my world to be what I needed it to be, at the time. And I wanted the best education that I could possibly squeeze from any type of source. And so I kind of ignored other people. I really like, and so like I know that what Bret Easton Ellis wrote is accurate for a certain number of people, but for a certain number of other people, it is not accurate because then there's me, and there's certain people like me who really was like, no, I mean, I'm writing for the now. I'm working. I'm gonna get this perfect. And I think he implies that in some of his chapters, but like by and large, the characters that he focuses on are people who just kind of fucking fuck up constantly when it comes to that stuff, and I think that's intentional.
yeah,
It's intentional because like that is what satirizes that kind of environment. Like does that make sense to you? What I said?
it does, and like specifically the word satirize, because like sometimes I read shit and like I know it's a satire, but emotionally, I don't feel it. I don't.
Right.
That's
Like I felt like I felt this emotionally, like that. I think Lauren was better at going to class than everybody else, but like by and large, I felt like everybody, like, nothing was based off of merit, which even in the article that I read, they were talking about Dick Jared, which was the kid that met up with Paul and his mom later in the story. But
Mm-hmm.
I think you can kind of ignore his character because there were a lot of different characters that were that they were bad at being present for their schooling, for their education, and it wasn't just Dick Jared. Dick was just a fucking asshole and he sucked. I hated him. I hated him as a character, but like the point that it made was clear through many different other characters of like this is a satirization of the type of people who go to these schools. They're so privileged, they're so special, they have so much money, but in reality they're not special at all.
They're just slugs like me. That's what I got from the movie.
Yeah, they're
Like,
just schlubs. They're just losers. They're kind of losers. Like they're just kids who like get together and they're like, let's get party, let's do MDMA,
actually,
let's do
I
drugs.
thought from the moment, like, I thought a little bit. I'm a little bit better than you, actually. 'Cause I've been in
Yeah.
like
No,
not the same
I also
situation.
felt that reading the books. I'm like, damn, you guys suck. Like all you've got is your money. All you've got is your
Maybe
money.
that's why. Maybe that's why like reading books where all the characters suck is fun. Like, I'm better than you.
Yeah, I
The
see. I'm
author's
not like that
doing
at all. Like,
service.
I don't want to read books where like people suck. Like, I really don't. But like
Yeah,
this book
I
was
like reading books where
good.
like people do valiant, awesome things. Like,
No, this book is gonna help me when I write my my stuff. But like, yo, these characters sucked. Like, I hated all of them. I was
that's why
like,
people tell me fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is good, and I like a lot of episodes of It's Always Sunny, and it has the highest because like most of the comedies that they've wrote in the 20 years, I fucking hate. Like I just don't like them. Like it's all awkward humor and crap. And like my life's awkward. Like why would I think that was funny? Like ugh. Like but it's always in Philadelphia. Like they are explicitly shitty characters.
yeah, I know. That's
Like
why
you're
I
not
don't like
supposed to
Sunny.
like them, but
Very
people like them
Sunny in
anyway.
Philadelphia.
But like
That's why I don't like that
sometimes
show.
it's funny.
Yeah. No, that's why I don't like that show.
All right. So out of a 1 and a 12 verses, what would you rate Rules of Attraction?
Like a 7, I feel like. A 7 is good. 7s are good.
A 7's good on a 1 to 12.
Out of 12?
Yeah, yeah. As I'm
What's the
using
12
base 12
for?
because that's how you. This is a base 12 system because that's how you bake.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay. So we're going to go with 7
American
still.
baking uses a base 12 system.
7.
Cups,
7.
pints, all that's base
7.
12.
7. We're doing a
7 12
7.
7. It's 7 out of 12. That's I
What
am
are
beautiful at a 7 out of 12.
7 or a 12?
Yeah,
For
it's
this book?
we're going 1 to 12. Yeah, 1 to 12. That's our rating system.
So you're doing a 7. What are you doing?
You're
I'm
doing,
saying a 7.
oh, me? I didn't fully read the book, so I can't weigh in.
Oh, okay. So I'm doing a 7. I'm doing a 7.
I remember I really enjoy watching a movie, which is rare.
Yeah, I gotta
So
watch
I'm
the movie.
gonna
I'm
put
gonna
it
watch
like
the movie after this at some point because like I feel like that'll like kind of like see what I saw through different lens.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, no, this was fun. This was crazy. Okay, next time, be warned.
I'm gonna fully read the book.
You're doing the synopsis. You're doing the summary. We're gonna switch it. We're gonna
Okay.
switch it. Okay. So like next time
I
after.
will do. I will. Yep. I'm gonna do the whole summary.
Yes. Because I worked
Homework.
really
I love
hard
it.
on this, and I was like, I'm killing myself. This is so.
No, this is
Why
what
is
we
this
need.
so hard? I had a lot of fun though.
Oh, look at that cackle.
Ha 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 ha. Hee. All right,
There's
perfect.
still one other point on this storyline
What
that
was it?
I don't think I'm gonna remember till tomorrow.
Another point? Like what?
Eh, my brain goes like a bazillion ways all the time, especially when it's full of alcohol.
ADHD,
And now
baby.
it's
That's
full
what
of alcohol.
ADHD is about. I made so many notes on this because I was
I
constantly like
challenge
marking
you to
paces.
write a haiku about rules of attraction. 575.
I will do that later. I'm not doing that right
Okay,
now.
that's fair. That's a fair response.
Yeah, no, like there's so many. This is such a good book, though. Like it was constantly like talking to itself, which is, I think, the mark of a good book. Constantly just like this happened, okay, this other thing happened, and it relates to this, and here's why, kind of thing. I felt like it was constantly
It's
doing that.
stupid that I didn't read this, but I recommend this and you liked it.
No, it was perfect. I loved it. It was genuinely like something that I needed to read. But like that's the thing though. Like I think I liked it also because there wasn't murder, and Bret Easton Ellis does a lot of murder in his books, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a
Yeah,
fan of that.
no. I don't like. There's so many genres that like people who are really into horror movies. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I have never gotten that. I'm not a horror movie gal. I don't like when people die.
There's a handful of horror movies that I like, or like I like Ring. Well, I've seen Ring and Ring 2. I like those, and I like Audition because, but it is fucked up. I need to stop drinking alcohol.
I need to stop drinking alcohol just casually.
Mm.
All right. Reminder that we're still being recorded.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Edit this out.
How do we end this episode? Let's end this episode. I
Let's.
gotta what?
We could either do something like you tell me a riddle and I tell you a riddle, but I
I'm not
can't
the
think of a riddle.
Riddler.
The Riddler.
I'm not doing this.
All right, I'm gonna read the whole next book and give the fucking synopsis.
Yeah, I think no, I think you'll really like the next book because the next book like is just it's super fun.
I haven't.
It's all
I haven't
fun.
looked anything about it. I just want to do the raw doggiest thing that I can for it, so I specifically have not looked it up.
Genuinely, I think you're just gonna have a lot of fun with it.
I like the name. Like, I'm hoping it takes place in France. and
No, it does
the
not.
guillotine. Oh, okay, but
No, it doesn't. But it's
the name.
even better than you expected.
All right, I'm ready.
I genuinely
I
I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise.
I gave you the book a recommendation even though I ain't read it, so I'm gonna assume it's gonna be just as good for me.
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna love it because I already love it, and I'm only like a couple pages in.
Book club. Book bitches.
Book bitches! Let's go!
All right,
Okay,
I'll
let's
talk to you
go
later.
off. All right, I love you.
I love you.
Okay, bye. Bye bye.